The You Bloom America's Flowers series is brought to you by the Foliage and Flower Farmers of Florida, because your customers care where the foliage and flowers come from. And Design Master Ultra Leaf Shine, instantly enhancing your Florida-grown foliage with a clean, natural shine and prolonged freshness.
I'm Jay Schwanke, a fourth-generation florist. I grew up running through my family's greenhouses with greens and flowers growing all around me every day. Welcome to the Florida Fresh Tour on youbloom.com. Coming to you from the fern capital of the world. The Florida Fresh Tour on You Bloom brings the joy, spirit, and enchantment of Florida-grown foliage and flowers to viewers across America and beyond. Join me as we discover together what it takes to provide world-class foliage and flowers from Florida to fans around the world. Today, from the Florida Fresh Foliage Tour, we're at FernTrust, in the heart of the fern capital of the world.
FernTrust was formed in order to give a marketing platform for a lot of small individual family farms. A lot of the small farms couldn't afford to build a nice packing house, have a big harvesting crew, or also to meet the demand of the big floral importers in Europe. So we banded together, we formed FernTrust, and we entered into the marketplace.
So how many farms are behind FernTrust?
FernTrust is made up of 13 individual family farms. The average farm is less than 50 acres, but combined we have over 350 acres of production.
What do those farms collectively grow?
They grow anything from aspidistra, tree fern, plumbosa, variegated pit, ruscus, lilygrass, leadleaf. I don't remember if I said that. I like to get it in several times. There's a list of 45 different things.
Wow.
Basically, as green, we grow it, and some things that are more than green.
Annually, how much foliage goes through FernTrust?
I would say probably 6 to 8 million bunches, at least, of fern. So you can multiply that by 20 to 25 stems for each bunch. So quite a bit.
Foliage.
Yeah. My name is David Register. I'm the Executive Vice President of FernTrust Incorporated.
So why do those farms grow foliage in Florida?
It's just the ideal location for it. We have just enough cold weather and just enough warm weather to make a perfect frond. A lot of places, if it's too hot, the foliage doesn't get a nice dark deep green color. And if it's too cold, of course, you get the freeze damage. So we're right on the bubble where it's not too hot and not too cold. I was going to show you how we reproduce our fields whenever we actually go to plant it. Since the fern is not grown by seed, even though there are spores on the backs of the plant, you can see that's how it naturally reproduces. Is these things.
We always talk about this because these will turn black.
Yeah, they'll turn black over time, and then the spores release, and that's actually the seed, to the fern plant. And eventually, after many years, if you have that in just the right conditions, it'll grow into a fern plant. But we like to cheat a little bit, and we'll take the plants and dig them up like this, and you have to divide them up. And what you look for is the growing eye. See that white eye right there? That's an important part. So what you'll do is you'll separate out little pieces like this, and you plant them, 8 to 10 to 12 inches apart, depending on how thick you want to start out with your planting. But as this rhizome grows along underneath the soil, you can see this little bump on it right here. That's where the frond's going to come up. So as this snakes along, it'll send up fern fronds. You can see this is the little fiddlehead.
Wow.
It's a little more evolved, but it basically goes from that. It'll get a little more height on it. And it goes to that.
Unfold.
Then it really starts looking like a fiddlehead. That's where the name came from. Then you'll see it starting to unfold a little farther, and then eventually you get the real light green fronds like this, which will fill out and eventually turn, a darker green color like that.
So is there anything particularly unique about FernTrust?
I would say our ColorFresh program is one of the most unique things we have. It's just an added way to add a little extra beauty to Mother Nature.
So now, David, when I travel and I'm showing product, this is one of the most popular FernTrust pieces of magic that you do. People go crazy for the ColorFresh.
It's something we're very proud of, something we've developed here and patented.
And you talked about it as being makeup.
Yeah.
For the beautiful foliage.
Yeah, we got beautiful foliage already, and it's just like beautiful models, you know. They wake up in the morning, they're already beautiful, but with a little makeup, they look even better.
There you go. We have your leather leaf, we've got aspidistra leaves, we have tree fern, anything, but anything. You guys do
almost anything we can paint.
So there's the painted.
Correct.
There's the shimmer.
Shimmer with a little bit of glitter on it.
And then the shine.
The shine.
That has a great reflective quality. That's a secret way you do that too. David, this is one of my favorite parts.
This is where we make the magic happen.
I know. The original fabulous foliage bouquets. You developed this idea.
Yes, we came up with this idea probably maybe 6-8 years ago to take all of our different foliages and instead of selling them as individual bunches, make them into a fabulous foliage bouquet.
The one thing I like to say about it is your bouquets are so gorgeous, they stand by themselves. I mean, this is absolutely incredible. That is a beautiful arrangement that can drop down in something and be on your table all week long, all month long. But then, if you use this as a structure and add flowers to it,
correct,
it's so smart for a florist to be able to do that as well. This is the ultimate bouquet. You know I love this one. This is one of my favorites.
That's one of my favorites too.
Yeah. And it changes, so the recipe changes.
It changes seasonally, you know, whatever's in season at the particular moment. So we want to always provide the best of what's available from Florida.
That's awesome. And so the fabulous foliage girls from FernTrust.
They're wonderful. They're the ones that make the magic happen. They're talented designers that put together each one of these bouquets by hand. We don't do anything with machines here. It's all hand tied.
That's amazing. Because FernTrust is different, and FernTrust is a cooperative, can you kind of sum up what FernTrust does for the foliage to the field?
Yeah, FernTrust has a unique perspective in that FernTrust doesn't actually grow the foliage that we sell. It allows the individual family farm to specialize either in a particular crop or a particular area to raise that crop and get it fully ready and mature for market. At that point, FernTrust comes in, checks quality, does the harvesting, the packaging, and then the marketing of that product for that individual farmer. At that point, we take away the expenses and the costs of providing that service for the farm, and then return everything else back to the individual family farm.
So David, what's the most important thing about running a co-op?
Being fair to all its members, because one of the worst things that can happen in a co-op is for the members not to trust the management of it. It's very important for the harvesting to be done in proportion to the amount of acreage that they're participating.
Okay.
And in order to make sure that all of the members know what's going on, we provide regular reports to all of them showing not only what's harvested from their fields, but what's harvested from everybody else's fields. So they can feel like they're getting their fair share.
Sure. Now, this is your busy time for harvesting.
Very busy. It's the second busiest time of the year. Of course, Valentine's Day is the flower holiday of the year.
Right.
It's a big one-day push, and Mother's Day probably pretty close behind it.
It's a good week push. We like to call it a week push.
Week, yeah.
So in that, you're harvesting right now, and these people are important.
Very important. It's the heart and soul of our business. If we didn't have the people out here harvesting, we wouldn't have a company.
What's the best thing about being a Florida foliage farmer?
It allows us to meet people from all over the world. It allows us to be a part of the floral and artistic community, even though we're not artists, we're farmers. It allows us to both enjoy the nature side of things, but then also the artistic side of things too.
So why be a foliage farmer and not like an astronaut or a lawyer or carpenter? Or...
I think it's partly because it's in my roots. You know, my family's been in agriculture for many generations. My wife's family was one of the original settlers in this area back in the early times. I mean, their earliest relative here, I think, was a English sailor that was captured by the Spanish and imprisoned at the fort over in St. Augustine. And my family goes back 5 generations here, so we were some of the original people in the area, the settlers of the region, and we've always been involved in agriculture. And I want to keep that family farm that we've had now in our family for 5 generations ongoing, and foliage has been a wonderful way to do it.
Why do you think foliage is important?
I think it's important because it adds to arrangements. It makes them look more natural and like nature. Flowers are beautiful, but it's just like, I like to say, it's when you get a nice steak dinner. It's nice to have a nice steak and other, but the artistic presentation of the food on the plate is very important to the whole experience. And I think the same thing goes with flowers. I mean, the more you can contribute and the more textures and colors that you can provide just add great appeal.
The cooperative that you have is amazing.
It's very important to us because not only does it represent 13 individual farms, but it represents 13 individual farm families that depend on FernTrust and floral designers like yourself to keep us in business.
I love it. Thank you so much for creating Fern we can trust from FernTrust.
Thank you for showing it to the world.
What's your favorite foliage, David?
Leatherleaf.
What's the botanical name? Do you know what the botanical name for?
Remora adianta. Yeah.
Remora. Jana, I have to come back and ask you a question. Number one, I know this is your service team, so this is who everybody talks to. These are, David told us, these are the friendly voices that everybody hears on the phone. Okay, so now I need to ask you, you told me the name of this foliage.
Remora adiantiformis.
And it refers to the form of the fern.
Yeah, the individual leaflets, how they're very distinctive in their shape. That gives it the formous portion of the name.
Awesome. I think that's a very romantic name.
It is a good name, isn't it?
That's right.